Method Man and Large Biscuit coming in almost immediately, and it's me pressing Statustrumuru. Feel free to stack up some questions. Question in brackets will help me grab it out from the chat, but I will try and read through chat as we go. I'm typically a few minutes behind. Tricksy little hobbitses. Hey. Yeah. No, Pedro, no more music. There's the button. There we go. I was creating a new sort of background B-roll video for my stream, and what I want to do is every month update that. Potentially like maybe more often than that, but at least once a month update it. So I'll show you what's happening at the moment. It's compiling, and it's been compiling for the last hour or so. It's taking a long time because it's a big bit of footage, and it's basically just sort of like a load of highlights from around the verse and that sort of stuff. I'll show you, and if there's any weird sort of like desync with my voice or stuff like that, maybe it's because my processor is being massively overused. But I hope everyone is doing well. If you would like to ask a question, and it can be about anything. I mean, obviously these are focused at Star Citizen. These sort of like chatties. Tell me what you think. I'll tell you what I think. Answer your questions based on the news and what CIG have said previously. of stuff. But you can ask about me. You can ask about my channel. You can ask about YouTube's. You can ask about pretty much anything, and I'll try and answer. Hello. Are they releasing the Alpha 3.5 on the Persistent Universe for all today? I think that is a near zero possibility. It's not even gone to first wave PTU yet. It's currently with the EVOCATI. The first wave PTU, however, could come any second for 3.5. Could be today, could be by the weekend, could be next week, but it's very likely that it's going to be sooner rather than later. Will we lose everything with this update? Well, not everything. You'll lose your Alpha UEC and your Alpha UEC purchases. That's what you lose every patch. Well, every major patch anyway, and some minor patches every time they reset the databases. So bear that in mind. You'll start with the amount of Alpha UEC that you have as UEC on your main account. So go on the website and you go there, have a look see, and we'll say, oh, this is, say I have 2,000. Oh, so actually, let's show you an example rather than me doing a weird, potentially foreign voice. Who knows where that accent came from? Robert. Go here. See here. You can see here that this particular account has 32,000 UEC. So that's how much I would start the game with. Boom. Hope that helps. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you very much, Info Harper, for the Prime subscription on the thingamajigs, the Twitch mobobs. Thank you, very much appreciated. Thank you for all the YouTube subs as well. I'm seeing a lot of people become YouTube members, which is fucking fantastic. It's sort of like very similar to a Twitch sub, but it's the YouTube, so I get a bigger cut of that, and it helps with all the YouTube content. So I fucking appreciate that. I will be doing some exclusive content and polls and pictures and things, especially with PrisonCon coming up, CitizenCon probably being in the UK this year, things like that. So people are still trying to work out the name for the podcast. So at the moment, I'm building a podcast. I've got a little questionnaire and a load of answers. Oh no, that's not what I want to show. That's what I want to show. So, little podcasty form, which you can find. Will that send people to it? That link send people to it. You can find it on my Twitter. You can find it on my in the community section of YouTube. Maybe that. Let's see if that works. Let's go here. Let's click here. Will that allow me to? It will. Cool. Bam. If you want to get involved in that, it's helping me build out how podcast would work mechanically. Because that's what I'm looking to do. It looks like people like the idea of having an ever-changing group of guests, similar to Captain Stable, and then sort of like have a mixture of some chosen topics and some that I've picked, and then the rest be a bit freeform and influenced by the chat at the time. It would all be done live, and it would be sort of like similar to kind of what you've seen in other podcasts, with a bit of all the sort of stuff that I do on these streams, so like chatting and very, very community orientated though, extremely so. That's the idea. Get as much interactivity as I can with the community and get as many of their questions answered. That's the idea. Boom. Waiting. You're stuck at Lawville, so you're waiting for a reset. How are you stuck at Lawville? You get stuck there. When is the Carrot winner announced? So it'll be announced at the end of the month, between the 31st and the 31st of March and 2nd of April. Between that time, probably. Like, there's no hard date for it. It's sort of like at the very end of the month, beginning of the next month sort of thing. I'll announce it on the Reddit. I'll put it up in a video during the month. And I will also obviously message the person, message them directly on their comment. So that should alert them that they've talking under their comment. And I do poke them. I think, let me just check to make sure the person that won the cutlass has picked it up. I contacted them. They confirmed it was theirs. So at the moment, contacted the guy that's won the cutlass. He's replied to me, and I've sent him his cutlass. Yeah. However, it's still not been literally, the link hasn't been clicked on it yet. See? So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll contact him a couple more times. I've sent it to his email address and the details that he gave me that are linked to the account. And I've made sure it's him and everything, but he hasn't claimed it yet. So I will continue to contact him and see if something's happened or whatever. If it's not, then I'll keep people updated. But I'm in contact with him. I just don't understand why he hasn't accepted the link yet. Ah! First world problems, eh? Any updates on orgs being able to share ships outside of a party? Example, a friend online able to use my ship. That is, I believe, the idea. They want to implement that. Organization features is one of the pillars, and the permission system is going to allow, well, almost certainly going to allow players to share ships even when they're offline, and we just don't know when that's coming at all. When is 3.5 due? When is the Carrack winner announced? 3.5 live is due at the end of this month, and that's when the live build goes out, at least planned to. We could have a PTU first wave anytime from today onwards, and it's already in EVOCATI. Carrack winner, as I said earlier, is announced at the end of the month or the very beginning of next month. Can you recommend a good monitor? My graphics cards are fairly decent, but I need something to view it on. I'd say that 1440p monitors are where it's at the moment. You want to get a high hertz, so like 144 hertz rate, 1 millisecond delay. I like Agon or AOC, but they're basically the same brand. The ones like their gaming versions, AGON or AOC. But yeah, just research your monitor. Really, you're looking for 1440p, in my opinion, 144 hertz plus, and 1 millisecond delay. I'm not a fan of curved monitors. I like 27-inch monitors as well. 27 seems to be my preferred size. Which Reliant version is my favourite, if any? Probably the Mako. It's the only one I'd probably use. Someone calling me cute face, which is creepy and yet sexy as well. So I congratulate you on that. What happened between you and the Matadors? I had they screwed you over. No, that's not true. None of the orgs I've talked to or worked with have ever screwed me over, ever, or played games with. To be honest, they've all been pretty solid. The Matadors are naughty boys, and are boisterous, banterous. I get on pretty well with Aventador, even though, I mean, a lot of the community hate him. I'm always going to remain relatively neutral. Well, as much as I can. Probably be angry if they do anything directly to me. You know, we're like, brah! But no, they haven't done anything to piss me off in particular. They annoyed me with what they did annoy me with. The Daymar rally, when a couple of our pilots were attacking the race that I was in. That was annoying. You know, Hey Board, when do you think the 3.5 flyable cell will be? Any word on an Origin 335C? 3.5 flyable cell, probably when 3.5 goes live, very end of March. There's no confirmation that a 335 cargo variant of the Origin 300 series will exist. I just think it's possible. And if it is possible, they'll probably go, haha, we've made it for 3.5 sort of thing. I know it's a long way off, but how involved do you reckon the player will be in hacking gameplay? Will they just run the code, or will it be like a little mini game as other games do? We don't know. I like cats. What a beautiful name. They want a lot of the gameplay to be hands-on as possible. So if there's hacking, there probably will be some form of mini game or a deeper level of gameplay beyond just pressing a button. You'll have to think about it. It will be tactile. It'll be meaningful, and it will take. You'll have to do it by hand. Basically, less automated is their approach typically. Noob wave. Noob question. What is first wave? Do they release the update in waves? If so, okay. So the PTU is the test universe. The live build is when it's like the live environment that everyone has access to. So the PTU build can exist simultaneously to the live build. The live build's always there. The PTU build is sometimes there. So the PTU build then goes, you fix all the bugs in the PTU build, and then they make like a build from that and make it live. Boom. Live. So the PTU goes out in waves typically. So they go, only the EVOCATI have access to it first, because there'll be some devastatingly stressful bugs in there that they need people that are good, concise, and give precise feedback and know what they're doing, know they're doing sort of like test-wise, and that are very reliable and very constructed in the way that they do their bug reports. They get to test it first. They hammer out the major bugs. Then it goes to first wave PTU. First wave PTU used to be a few hundred more testers. So EVOCATI build around 1,800 testers now. The first wave is the EVOCATI and was a few hundred extra testers, or maybe a couple of thousand extra testers. But now first wave means subscribers and concierge. They get access at the first wave. It's something that they do to encourage people to do the voluntary subscriptions and spend more money basically on supporting the game. But typically like a day or two later, it goes out to more people. Looks like you're getting fatter. Food good in Britain. Mr. Medicus, I've lost 1.5 stone. Maybe I'm closer to the camera. I'm not even eating properly. How dare you? How dare you do not congratulate me on my weight loss, you monster. Do you think the 300 series will be in 3.5 or maybe 3.5.x? I'm assuming it's still going to be in 3.5 in the live build. What mechanic and ship are you looking forward to the most this year? Good question. I mean, the thing I've been looking forward to at the moment was the new flight model in general. But I suppose if you're talking about gameplay loop, it's salvage. And if you're talking about ship, probably the Carrack, very closely followed by the A90 jump. So we're thinking 3.5, potentially to first wave PTU any time from now to the end of the week, most likely, and 3.5 live end of March. But I will go out to more and more people in the PTU before then. How does one play with the keyboard and mouse? My ships drift way too much, and I fly with mouse. Am I doing something wrong? Ted, you can do relative mode, which will lock your sort of like the way you fly your ship, so you fly from your nose with the mouse. So it basically treats it like a joystick. That's how I fly with the mouse and keyboard. You can try toggling on and off some of the comm stav and the safe modes for your sort of like thrusters, which can cause you to drift. So you can try toggling them on and off. But new flight model, in 3.5. It's going to be different anyway. You read YouTube and Twitch comments? Which do you prefer? I'll read whatever. I'm pretty easy. In 3.5, are we going to get pip convergence for gimbaled weapons? I thought we were. I think we are. Maybe. So they talked about auto gimbals and this like new gimbal system they've got. Me and Noobifier both thought it was pip convergence originally, but then they sort of like started talking about an automatic gimbal system where your gimbals aim lightly for you. You can turn on a gimbal mode. You can have manual gimbals where you can literally aim your full angular range, so you can go pew 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 and shoot with quite precise accuracy with your mouse or whatever, bam bam bam, and you're literally moving the gimbals around. Or you can set to an auto mode, so it will sort of like try and aim within a smaller angular sort of like section of the screen. It will sort of like try and aim at targets within that, so you concentrate more on flying and firing, but not aiming so much. So that sort of like sounded different to the original pip convergence that we thought we were going to have, but we'll probably get both. And that's just going to be a mode for gimbaled weapons. You're not going to have that forced upon you. I'm wondering if that will work for ships with gimbaled and fixed weapons like the Aegis Vanguard. Do you have any insight? Yeah, it will work as long as you've got some gimbaled weapons. Then it will auto aim, and I believe if they're still going to have the pip convergence, then it will still converge. However, with pip convergence, I suppose you wouldn't be able to that with fixed and gimbaled weapons. They'd be all treated as fixed, I'd assume. You see what I mean? Because you're firing and all your weapons would have to converge on a single target. So my insight is, I don't really know. Someone's sent me money. The Deep Fryer, you've resubscribed. I love your face. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Like it when people subscribe. Mwah. What's your opinion on joystick flight? Do you have a hard time tracking targets? I seem to struggle with accuracy. This is a new flight model in the 3.5, and combat needs to be balanced for that, which I think is going to be done between 3.5 and 3.6. So I'm not sure how great flight combat's going to be in 3.5. Hopefully it's not in a trash position. Hopefully it's reasonably good at least. At the moment, I'm not great with a joystick in 3.4.3. I haven't been great with a joystick since 3.0, actually, thinking about it, since they changed the combat system from 2.6.3. So I've preferred a mouse since then. It's going to be a lot different, Ted, when you try 3.5. You might be doing something wrong. If your ship's drifting too much, it's probably one of the flight stability modes, like ComStab or something that's or G-Safe that's causing you to drift. So try switching those modes on and off and see what sort of like G-Safe on, G-Safe off, ComStab on, ComStab off, and see what mixture of those works for you. Hi Bored, a member told me that auto turrets for ships probably come after implementing ship crews. Well, I don't understand that because auto turrets at Polosar already exist. So, yeah, they do. They are building defense turrets. We see some of those defense turrets on structures on the ground as well. In general, they can actually have props now. So, like you've seen the probes that they have that you can destroy. They can have any prop they place in the world. They can actually put gun turrets and treat them as ships or whatever, and attach them to their power system and that sort of stuff in the Item 2.0 system, so they can have interesting props, interesting gun turrets, whatever. So that all works separately now. They can build that modularly out for space stations or yeah, whatever. Auto turrets are a little bit different. So when you're talking about auto turrets, you're talking about AI bladed turrets in this particular situation, rather than sort of like the auto tracking gimbals, and that requires, well, the plans for those are to have you put AI blades or AI modules in a turret, and then that sort of tracks targets and fires at targets automatically. They're quite derpy, but it's its own system, and they need to write AI for that and stuff like that. You are right, though. There are parts of that in the game already. There are turrets that auto-track things, so why can't I use them? I think it's slightly different because then it has to be part of a physics grid, it has to be part of your ship, it has to move with your ship, it has to use your power. There's a few things that it's sort of like dependent on. Is there going to be any performance improvement in 3.5? There should be. There should be. So they're optimizing a huge amount of things. Some of the things to look forward to are the stall fixes. So the idea here is that, you know, when you're going into quantum drive, or you suddenly see a large amount of like detail pop in or whatever, there's hitching or there's lots of popping or whatever, it should help prevent that significantly. You should not notice hitching anymore when you're going into quantum drive and coming out of quantum drive. That's what that's sort of like. Therefore, they're generally optimizing their tech. If you read in the monthly report, there's a huge amount of CPU optimizations, GPU optimizations, memory optimization stuff. So it should run a lot better. Now, a lot of the stuff they want to do is that they're trying to optimize the game so they can put more into the game, so they can have more going on, so they can have higher detail. But there's going to be a balancing act of trying to get higher frames and adding more as they continue to optimize. But yes, in 3.5, I would expect to see significant optimization in the live build, at least. There's significant, a good amount, a good more few frames, and lots of performance improvements in general. And maybe not huge frame rate boosts, but you should see more stable frame rates probably, less hitching, things like that, stuff looking a bit better. Will you lose all of your ships by permadeath? No. So the idea with the original permadeath system is death of a spaceman, and the idea is that your character is mortal. You can die a few times, so like your ship exploding or whatever, and you're not ejecting, and then you'll keep on respawning, and eventually, if you do that too much, you'll die. You're dead. Now, you'll start to show issues before that, so your character will start to age. You'll get wear and tear in your character. You'll have cybernetic limbs. You'll get scars and things like that. And keep on dying too much or whatever, then boom, you're dead. And then you give all of your assets to your new character is the idea. Now, there might be some death tax. There might be some reputational loss. We don't 100% know. We're not even sure if Death of a Spaceman is the true plan anymore. But the idea and the core of Star Citizen, one of its things they wanted from it from the start, and they don't seem to have changed, is that they want you to not zerg. They want your life to matter. They want mortality to matter. Risk and reward is huge in the game, and they want that to help build upon the world rather than take away from it. Is Star Citizen worth buying right now? Thank you very much. Delamars, oh, I love your face. Thank you so much. I've got so many regulars now. Very much appreciate it. Thank you. Star Citizen is this sort of like
tricksy little hobbitses
alpha project that you can get involved with now. It's if you're looking to buy a game now, potentially not. However, if you're looking to get involved with the Star Citizen project now, then yes. So Star Citizen, if you want to sort of like have a voice in how it's developed, what sort of mechanics they put in first. Do you like the new flight model? Do you hate it? Do you like the way they're doing something like this or not something like this? Are you good at reporting bugs? Do you want to get involved with the testing and finding of bugs and prioritization of the fixing of those bugs? And if you want to get involved with the community and chat about stuff and watch the game develop as you sort of play it, then yes, very much so. Also, I would recommend not doing that solo. You want to get involved with either an organization or jump in with a group or find some other people that play it. Star Citizen is best played, especially at the moment, with a group or with an organization, just mainly because a huge amount of the gameplay is emergent gameplay or gameplay that other people sort of like prepare for themselves. You see like people like Rexzilla and stuff, his stream for Star Citizens so popular because he's got that content that he's building with a load of people that are organized. So there's some great stuff you can do. And I was talking to Harbinger the other day, the leader of the Forgotten Heralds. They organized themselves into doing ops and pre-prepare for that all, and have sort of like some planned things happening throughout. They even get people to record voice lines for them. And then you have like people like the Matadors who will sort of like, they are at least organized. They will go in and they'll go, let's attack this guy, let's jump onto this server. Oh, look at this guy, he's streaming, Stream Sniper, whatever. They're being naughty somewhere, but they're organized at least. And that's how these different organizations have their fun. So find a right organization for you and get involved. But if you want to play solo at the moment, or if you want a game that is a evolved game that you can sit down and put hours into and you actually see your progress, then Star Citizen is not for you at this stage. Is the DNA customization system working? It's planned to be working for 3.5. I cannot talk about the specifics of an EVOCATI patch that I'm actually playing in. See what I mean? It's not public knowledge. But yeah, I've got 3.5. I'm an EVOCATI. That means I've got a non-disclosure agreement, which means I can't talk about the specifics of the testings of that patch. So that would include the patch notes for it. That would include the what I was specifically doing in it yesterday or whatever. Aventador is the leader of the Matadors. Will there be a way to display the org symbol on my ships? That would be awesome. So they've sort of like very lightly touched on this. There's going to be customization of the externals of ships with paint. And they said maybe some decals. And they sort of like talked very briefly about, oh, we are thinking about organization logos and decals. But we don't know what their plans are going to be for that. I'd be happy spending a little bit of... Oh, God, my back. A little bit of money. Like $5 or whatever to get my a logo on my ship, with like the BoredGamer logo or whatever. That'd be cool. But most of that stuff will be available in game. I'm just thinking for if you wanted something extremely custom that the game doesn't cater for, you could pay real money for it. But that's just not saying that's what's going to happen. Will 3.5 PTE release break CIG website with traffic? The live release will. Almost certainly, because it always does. The PTU Wave 1 release, maybe? Yeah, probably, because people want to see what the patch notes are. Want more plants in the space stations and ships for Star Citizen? Do you? Oh. Well, they've been working on various flora recently. There's lots more than this, obviously. But we're going to see some quite cool things for Microtech. It's going to have like Nordic forests and sort of like Scottish fields and things like that. So quite cold trees and atmospheres and areas, but not frozen. Well, there's going to be huge areas of snow and frozen stuff, but not just that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to farming in the game. I'm looking forward to what they do with animals. And alien animals, can we capture them? Is there going to be big game hunting? Are they going to be worth money?
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Does the 3.5 build have better group missions? Will we be able to get group rewards properly together? I don't believe that 3.5 is going to implement better group missions yet. At some point, hopefully 3.6, they're planning to have better group play. Which will have us being able to share missions. So a group leader in a party would have access to all of the missions that all of their group members have, and they'll be able to share that between the group, and you'll get group rewarded for that. We do need a more robust service beacon system, like contracts, and the ability to share money between people much more easily. But all of that should be coming in the future. But group missions, they've been working on it. It is coming at some point. I think they wanted to have it in 3.5. But I think it is planned at 3.6. Don't 100% quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. Did they say if they would ever have things like autopilot for some activities like flying out of Atmo? Typically, they've said they wanted most stuff to be as hands-on as possible and to be as interactive as possible, and you have to sort of like be there. So the current sort of thinking is no real autopilot. However, they have been talking about it and considering some bits for certain things. So it's not out of the question. It's just unlikely. Why do I not like curved monitors? I just haven't used a curved monitor before, so I can't recommend one. I've been using flat monitors. I've got 4 flat monitors around me at the moment. Carrick is indeed life and love. Thanks for everything you do in the community. Sub to keep you from having any fun. Keep it up. Keep it boring. What? Love you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, you star. Thank you very much. And Hannah, thank you very much for the sub on the primes. Thank you very much, Harbinger, on the sub with the primes. Thank you very much. That's your new name. It's in Wookiee. For the subscription as well. Uria GNU. Help me out here. But thank you very much, guys, for subscribing. It's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Yes. See, Floorboard congratulates me on weight loss. I appreciate it. Yes, I'm looking slim and healthy. Have you ever used the grey market? Yes. If so, how was your experience? It's always been good when I've used it. I've used it to buy some things for myself that I've wanted. I think what you need to do with the grey market is you need to read all the rules there. Be aware that some people can scam you. So you need to be sensible in how you trade. Make sure you take all the precautions. You can go through a third-person middleman. And yeah, the grey market is sort of like not supported by CIG. So if someone stole all your money and your ships or whatever, CIG can't help you. Or at least there's no guarantee that CIG will help you. You've gone to a third party to grab stuff. It's not included. They don't say you're going to lose your account if you do trade on there, but they're not going to help you. As far as I'm aware, they could obviously withdraw all support from that and say, no, we're not allowing it anymore. The black market stuff is stuff that is directly against their policy. When will Star Citizen get a purpose and when will there be a goal? For example, when will they stop making Planet ships and focus on missions, FPS shooting, bounties, and when killing pirates? So you're actually getting more bounty hunting stuff and hopefully better AI in 3.5. So a lot of the focus this year is going to be on Squadron 42 content, which includes a huge amount of AI stuff and just getting the cores down. So general combat, the new flight model, general AI, the feeling of FPS combat and shooting. So that a lot of that stuff is coming in this year. FPS missions and general persistent universe missions and bounty hunting stuff. Again, 3.5 and onwards is all having more and more for that. For me, there's not really going to be a goal in Star Citizen beyond what a single session is until they have no more resets. So we need full persistence and potentially server meshing for that. And then at some point, there's going to be no more resets on the servers, so everything will be meaningful. About flying saucers and the greys, we could see a race that is like greys that we've seen in Area 51 and shows like Stargate. Flying saucers, there could be a race that is more round and circular we see in the future. The races that we don't know what the Kurthak look like or what their ships look like. We know that they're sort of like human space and then Xi'an space, and then the Kurthaks are like behind them. And they had been previously at war with the Xi'an in the Spirit Wars. Got the Tavaran. We've seen some of the Tavaran ships like the Prowler. Prowler's actually coming this year, oddly. Got the Banu. We've got the Vandal that we know about. Obviously got the humans. But there could be more races beyond that in the future, especially. I was told that Theresa May is asking until June for Brexit. Do you think the UK might try and not go with it, or do they need another month? Is this month guaranteed? Sorry for the question. This is a Brexit question, and I can't talk for my government because it's in a bit of dismay with Theresa May. Boom. Lovely pun there. So yeah, so Theresa May looks to be asking for a short extension to try and get her meaningful vote slightly changed, amended, or whatever, and then voted on again. The Speaker of the House, Jan Berko, he said that in the same session, you can't bring back the same motion unless it's substantially different. So they'd either have to change the Brexit plan significantly before bringing it back, or they'd have to dissolve Parliament and restart the session, which could happen, and then they can bring it back. However, Europe needs to okay the extension, and if any one of the countries there says no, they can veto it, and then we would just hard crash out of the EU on the 29th of March. So lots of ifs, buts, and maybes. Will you be doing more org highlights? Yes, I will. There's 3 or 4 orgs I've actually already got on the list that I need to deal with. I've been erratic during the day because I've been looking after my parents. My dad's going through cancer at the moment, so I've just been a bit erratic, and that is sort of like a me problem rather than my community problem. I do have a reasonable amount of free time. I should have been getting involved with those orgs, and I haven't been. I've been sort of like chilling. I've just been a bit burnt out. And one of those things is that we haven't got enough content for me to actually get involved with, that I'm allowed to show, because it's an EVOCATI 3.5. So apologies for that. Now's the sort of time I should be doing that. But I will start to get into a better flow. But yes, I will be looking at lots more organisations, getting interviews with them, chatting to them about things. I might include that as part of the podcast that I'm going to do, something like that. I've avoided Anthem and I've avoided the Division 2. Division 2 looks pretty good though. Anthem, not so much, unfortunately. I thought Anthem was going to be pretty good, but... Instead, when you die, you come back as your kid. Is that true? Well, you're not going to come back as a child. You'll come back as your next of kin, which would be an adult. No children in Star Citizen, at least not at the moment. Having children in games lowers their, increases their rating age-wise, and Star Citizen wants to avoid not being able to be sold in certain countries, sort of thing. It wants to have as wide a net as possible to make as much money as possible. They are making this game somewhat family friendly. Can they or should they make a switch for grown-up mode? When they swear in the game, some of the characters. No, I mean, you don't need to make it super family friendly. It can just be like 12. It's gonna be a complex grown-up game anyway, just because it's complex, I would suspect. PTU could be out today, possibility, for first wave. So the hope is that 3.5 will go to first wave PTU today or tomorrow. And we are really, really fucking, on my French, been really hoping for that for ages. Like, it's, yeah, 3.5 gonna be cool. I mean, I want to sort of curb some expectations. 3.5 is mostly, according to the roadmap, going to be sort of like an optimization, an update patch that looks at, well, we can go over it quickly. We'll go over quickly in a bit. Go through some more of these questions because there's quite a few. But it's huge amount of optimizations and stuff. I mean, there is new content. Obviously, there's ArcCorp, there's the new DNA system, there's the female characters, and there's all the new missions, everything they're going to be going in with the new ArcCorp area, and there's moons, and Area 18, so there's lots of cool stuff in gameplay area there. And there's going to be sort of like, I think they're working on some more bounty hunter missions for that as well. But a huge amount of it is optimizations and improvements to all of the systems we have, including VoIP and HUDs and hitching and performance and lots of stuff like that. Does the reworked 350R have cargo capacity and or a bed? Don't know yet. We'll know once we actually see it. The video yesterday, there is 2 ships side by sides. One is the Aegis Stalker. Oh, the Avenger Stalker. The one on the left looks like it's bigger. What is the name of that ship? I will have a look at it for you later. Tommy, drop me a message, and I'll have a look. Will you be able to customize your own NPC crew? Oh, I don't know to what level you're about to customize them. We know you'll be able to hire NPC crews eventually.
I couldn't choose a sound for
I'm
being
not sure
hosted, so I decided
what
to
effect
use
you'll be able to
this.
have on their loadouts. I suspect you'll be able to deal with their loadouts and equipment. An interesting one. I haven't even thought about how in-depth the NPC crew system is going to be. Can you even can you customize their costumes and suits and their headwear and all of their weapons and armor and ammo and where they're living on the ship? That's an interesting one. Thank you very much for the host, Citizen Shenanigans. Do you feel that 3.5 is still going to be extremely rushed? Still no PTU? I don't. Beyond the Floyd model, I don't think there's that much to worry about in the sort of like being rushed and bug fixing area. They've added new planets before. They've added new moons before. They've added new mission givers before. It's all stuff they know how to do now. And the new flight model, however, needs to be tested and in a good state, even for the first wave PTU, because then people are going to start talking about it. If it's in a trash state, if it's super buggy, then that's going to hamper the community's sort of like opinion of it. So I do want them to get the PTU out as soon as possible, though, for first wave, so that we can test it. Because obviously there are still going to be a lot of bugs and things. What fixtures do you expect in the party gameplay update for 3.5? Can you be more specific about the party gameplay update for 3.5? What do you mean? You're talking about the group system improvements v4, implementing improvements for group system for smoother mobiGlas and invite experience. So they're just sort of like overhauling the mobiGlas and HUDs and stuff in general. They're making sure that the group system, even if you come back in and out, you'll still be part of that group, stuff like that. Make sure there's less bugs with it. I don't think it's going to be the sort of like mission sharing system and stuff like that, but it steps towards it. Some other quality of life updates there as well. With 3.5 update, is CIG going to update the website with the ship customization for the 300 series? Yes, I think it's going to be website based. Thank you very much, Far From Common. Thank you very much for the subscription with Prime. I do want to encourage people to subscribe with their Prime to any of their favourite content creators. Yeah, so Randbo, for 3.5's release, the plan is to have 300 series reworked. And they're also having a new way of customizing and buying ships when you purchase them from the website. And I'm not entirely sure if this is going to then propagate out to all the other ships in the game and potentially even concept sales. We'll have to wait and see. But the idea is that we might be able to customize the color of our ship, the loadout of our ship, something like that. It's not confirmed exactly what it's going to be, maybe the interior, but we know that there is a new way of customizing and purchasing ships for the game on the website. Obviously, eventually that sort of stuff will all be available in-game. You won't have to buy any of your ships with real money other than your starter pack, your game package. But it's just something that obviously will help drive sales, make them more money in the short term, and long term, I suppose. Looking at the Squadron 42 roadmap, I see little is in grey box, most is still in white box narrative, some white box playable. Do you think time from white to grey is going to be a problem? It might be, it might not be. I don't know how to rate the Squadron 42 chapters from how long it takes them to move from one area to another. Some of these things might just be not being worked on at the moment because they're like small or minor scenes. So the chapters that you see there, and not the chapters, the bring this up on the screen so I can show you.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
So here's chapters. So the chapters that you see here, they go through various phases, and they go through from white box narrative to white box playable, to grey boxing. That could be narrative and playable, and then and eventually they get sort of like finished off and then completed and polished. So Squadron 42 episode 1 is 28 chapters. However, some of these chapters might be in between scenes. They're not necessarily a full mission. They might be a full mission though. They might be the sort of like downtime between a mission. There might be loads going on with characters on a ship. So the length of these chapters is not all equal, is what I'm trying to say. And some of them might just not be being worked on until the very end of the game, until Q4 2019, when they'll then go bam, 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 and get up to finish them off. Also, some of them may require some of these features that is coming in. So some of them might require vents and hatches to actually get through white box into grey box. So they need to finish them when they have Squadron 42 Quarter 4 stuff done. You see what I mean? So it's feature dependent, as well as them building the levels out, which is sort of what the chapters are. It's building the levels and the cinematics, making sure that they work as a flow, whether or not they're finished or not. But they need to sort of like work as a playable thing. Yeah, some people love curved monitors. I mean, I'll look at them at some point. I'll do some research. But at the moment, I just prefer flat. You know, I'm a dinosaur now. What will the difference between a fighting drone and a ship with an NPC in it? So, NPC ships and player ships will effectively be the same sort of thing. The idea in NPC ships is that each of the NPCs will be at least simulated running each of their consoles. They'll eventually fight as much like a player ship as they can. However, that's obviously going to be a bit different because players always find new ways to fly and fight. Drones, a drone in game can be controlled by a player. I assume that they can also be controlled by an NPC. Little combat drones and things running around. I'm not sure if I entirely understand your question. That's all. Roving trader, will that be a thing? And how will CIG keep goods feeling rare? Well, there's supposed to be banning merchantmen flying around. That ship is more trade orientated than cargo hauling orientated. If you see what I mean, it's going to have a shop on board. There's going to be sort of like rooms where you can do negotiations and stuff like that. I suspect we will see roving traders flying around that you can purchase stuff from. Yeah, there will be NPC banning merchantmen, for example. How did I get my name? Well, my original game tag is Monkey, and a load of my mates still call me that. BoredGamer is, I literally was developing brand name ideas for the YouTube channel I wanted to do. I wouldn't worry about the UK economy collapsing. You might get short-term shitness and short-term damage to goods and services and the economy in the UK, but eventually it will recover. It'll be a good time for investment. You've got to be realistic about these sort of things. It's not going to be the end of the world if the UK crashes out of the EU. Otherwise, you're just sort of like giving into defeat. You're like, oh well, we haven't remained in the EU, so I'm giving up. So it's everyone else's fault. Take some responsibility for yourself. Try and do the best you can in whatever situation you can. That's how you should try and live, in my opinion. My personal opinion on this is that I wished we had made more of our leverage in Europe. I would have preferred us being in the European Union and actually really, really making waves, getting the best for the UK, really pushing for laws and stuff that help the UK, that do the best good that we can for the UK, and that sort of stuff. Leverage our position. That's looking back on it now. That's hindsight stuff. Anyway. Yeah, indeed. We can try and keep things from being political, but Bored is British. That's true. I will try and keep politics entirely out, well, mostly out of my channel. I don't mind occasionally saying, this is my view. We could all be adults about it. It's cool if you have different views. That's fine. So, you know, can we have good conversations? However, star citizen on my channel, but it's an AMA, so I did say anything is okay. Do you think we'll implement true mission arcs as opposed to individual missions? Yes, I do think there's going to be a mixture of mission arcs and individual missions and semi-chained missions, which look like individual missions, but then sort of like do lead on to others. And some of this is going to be entirely procedure generated from the procedural mission system and the modules from that. And some of it's going to be more roller coaster, sort of like theme park ride missions that they've more handily done, that are supposed to have specific arcs, and you can do different things. Like, I mean, for example, the earliest one we had was the Tessa Bannister missions, which were effectively a mission arc. They didn't really have much in the way of different endings. So they are. So the footage in the background is from Squadron 42, episode 1. That is planned to have a beta in the second quarter of 2020. Hopefully that means a live release of the game in 2020 as well. Potentially going to be delays, very likely to be delays, but we'll have to wait and see. This sort of stuff, again, implemented when the game goes live. They are going to tweak this a lot. This is from 2017's vertical slice, so even this would have been heavily changed by now. So bear that in mind. They are going to have cave systems in-game in the persistent universe, though. So we will start to see sinkholes, we'll start to see procedural caves. They're very early in research and development for that. They're built in the same way that they build modular space stations. So there's sort of like procedural generation for that, but they generate a cave entrance or a sinkhole entrance, and then an interesting cave system inside there. And they have it generated so that players can walk around there. There's different levels that they can climb up on. There's always going to be a way to get to the end of the cave, I believe, things like that. And there might be loot, there might be pirate bases in there, there might be stuff like that. Actual planets that you can see in the background and all that facility and stuff, that is in the Odin system. That is supposed to be part of the Squadron 42, but eventually will be in the persistent universe as well. That is Odin 1A Gaini, the actual moon they're on. Odin 1 became the coil, the planet exploded, and became the coil. Well, that was a supernova and whatever. Question hugs. Yes, please. Yes, people love the Division 2. Division 2 sales are poor, though. The Division was one of my favourite games in the last, 5 years. You know when they will be able to have blade computer turrets for the Hammerhead? Nope, I don't. Probably a good bit before they'll be able to have NPC crews. I don't think all the turrets in the Hammerhead will be able to be run by AI blades and modules, but I'll have to wait and see. Neutron stars. We know there's going to be black holes, and they'll probably have some other interesting points of interest around and in certain systems. What looks to be the better update, 3.6 or 3.7? 3.7 adds a huge amount of cool stuff, but they're all important for me. 3.7 because it's later. Boom. Gives us more because it will also have 3.6 done. Yeah. This is probably already asked, but what is your estimate for when 3.5 will go to the next wave of PTU? First wave, potentially today. But probably by the weekend. Binary stars, yeah. There's references to binary stars, I believe, in the lore and some of the systems already. Black holes, yeah. In one of the systems, it has a black hole. You think we'll see a larger Xi'an ship concepted at some point? Maybe a Kagis ship. Maybe not concepted. They might have already done something like that, is what I'm trying to say. Potentially we'll see something concepted and then build it out. maybe like in maybe they don't have plans to have the Xi'an ships until Squadron 42 episode 2, and working on the Xi'an later. But they might have already done some bits for it. So yeah, we might see concept art for it, and then they're building out and then sell it. Or they might show us some concept art and go, well, this isn't going to be flyable by humans because it's built for the Xi'an and just the Xi'an, and it's like a capital ship, and they're not selling to humans. I would expect to see a Xi'an cargo ship at some point there, yes. When do you think they'll fix the bugginess of missions? Hopefully, that'll be more fixed in 3.5. We'll be able to make use of space drugs with visual effects in game. Well, there's going to be inebriation, so you'll be able to drink alcohol. I don't see why maybe you can do other space drugs. There's medipens, maybe there'll be stim packs, maybe there'll be space weed. Do you think we'll get proximity mines for rear torpedo launches? Mines have been talked about. I would expect to see a mine layer concept ship at some point, and then they'll talk about mines, torpedoes, and missiles. It's giving me leaked amounts of money. Andrew Walsh, thanks for the frequent updates. What's your personal bet on a full release date? Full release is so hard to say. Like Squadron 42 episode 1 full release date, I would expect, if everything goes to plan, them to release that for November, December 2020. That's probably the plan for them at the moment. Star Citizen's Persistent Universe is indefinitely going to be updated every 3 months, and I would see it as it's not going to be a full release for ages. Like, as a game that there's so much to do. There's so much to do for the game. So I'd see the game as something mainstream and playable when there are no more resets. And to have no more resets, really, they need full persistence, and they need, which allows them to do loads of stuff, and server meshing. That will mean that they can have their single shard universe or whatever all working. They need to have all subsumption and economy built out as well. They don't need to have all of the gameplay mechanics. They don't need to have a much of the gameplay area beyond a couple of systems to have no more resets. And then they need to build out the rest of the ships and all the gameplay mechanics and the gameplay area. So once they got to that stage, no more resets, everything's meaningful in game, that's when I'd sort of like say that's mainstream, that's released, that's worth sitting down and playable and playing as like a full game. But so much more to do after that still, that people will be like, this is like an alpha of a game. Yeah, probably is still an alpha of a game. Hard question to answer. They're indefinitely going to be releasing a new large patch every 3 months. That's the plan. What else have we got here? Hello, do you know anything about the new Ursa rover that's in the roadmap 3.5? Yeah, so it's the Ursa rover Fortuna. It's just a green-skinned version of the Ursa rover. Did you hear about CCP Games 10K player tech demo happening today? I've got access to it. I will probably get involved with it. Thor's password is available. When is it? Oh. It is happening in 7 minutes. It's going to be for an hour, so I might, in a little bit, cut the stream and go and actually check that out. Okay. Thank you for that. I'd like to see a load of players in a single area, like we saw. Was it Julian Universe did it the other day? They simulated a load of players, which isn't the same as actually having a load of clients, but it shows them they're building the tech towards that. Will the trading of goods be charged in the next update? How will the trading of goods be changed in the next update? I think there's going to be, well, we don't 100% know. Expect them to constantly iterate and change balance of mining, of goods, of the cost of things. There might be some new places like Jump Town and things like that. They might have moved stuff around, so the meta's going to change heavily, and that's just going to happen from patch to patch. I don't know how that's going to change until we have a live build, because it could be changed rapidly and or quite a bit between EVOCATI to BTU to different phases of the BTU before the live build. If they add that customizing mechanic for buying ships from the website, will people who already own the ship before this feature be able to customize their ships? I don't know, but if the worst happens, you'd have to melt your ship and then rebuy. We're hoping they give people a badge so they can customize them, though. For a token. What do you think is coming with the scanning and radar improvements in 3.5? So I think they want to have more data exposed to the players, and the systems just to be able to be a bit more sensitive and sensible. So you'll be able to scan different targets to see different information about that, and when you hover over, you'll be able to see different information exposed, like what faction they are, what their criminal rating is, things like that. I think it's the sort of stuff they're building into. They generally wanted to make the scanning and radar stuff a bit more sensitive. When you're scanning out radar blobs, it will sort of like tell you a bit more about what potentially you've detected over there before you go over there, things like that. And they obviously need to have all of their numbers set up for the passive radar detection of things, so that stealth is much more of a thing. Management of ship systems is a thing. And that all those systems are lightweight enough not to cause a bit of a pressure on clients or the server. Oh, I just lost all the questions I had up on the screen. I know this wouldn't be for a while, but what would be the first alien race you want to meet? Fanny? Fanny with the Kerthak. Kerthak, because I have no fucking idea what they look like at all. Fanny, because I'm pretty into industry and trading. Hey Bored, when the current build gets pushed out to Wave 1, would it be possible to get a video guide tour of ArcCorp and Area 18? Yes. So what I'll do at the earliest possible stage, when 3.5 goes to Wave 1 PTU. I mean, I am away this weekend, but even if I'm away, I'll potentially get out something if it does go. I'll get patch notes up. I'll get a little bit of a state of the game up probably at some point, but I'll do a quick tour of ArcCorp Area 18, talk about the new flight model and all the new ships and reworks. I'll do a tour of that. That's sort of like as a priority.
I'm dodging bullets like fucking
beautiful.
Neo.
Thank you very much, Blood X Puppet. Mwah. Blood Puppet. Thank you very much for the cheer. Woo! There's probably a reddish light in my room. I haven't set the white balance properly. Typically, Firefly, I have it a lot lower, so it looks like I'm a lot more sort of like faded out. Each day gamer, yeah. Since there are drugs and things in game, will there be addiction too? You'll see NPCs addicted to stuff. I don't think you'll see players addicted to stuff. Maybe though, maybe if you take certain meds regularly, you'll get a little debuff, which means you need to take it every so often. They could do that. They have the system there, I believe, to be able to do that. Pretty easy to do. Do you think we'll ever get a compass? Well, when we're on planet side. Well, we know that they're building the ability to have 3D maps, and you will be able to sort of like wheel in all the way from space to a planet. And they want to give players as much tracking and locational information as possible. So I do suspect we will get a compass at some point. I think Chris Roberts say something about full persistence recently. Yeah, we've talked about it loads. BoredGamer, what's the current state of the game in your opinion? We've needed the new flight model for ages. The core of the game isn't finished yet, stuff like that. So 3.5 and getting Squadron 42 episode 1 completed and all those core mechanics into the Star Citizens is incredibly important. The game is incredibly pretty. It is more like a tourist destination and a holiday sort of like project at the moment. You go there, you go, oh my god, this is really pretty and really fun and really cool. You can't stay there forever because unless you're in an organization or a group that plans content and regularly does stuff, and that's all planned, you are not going to be able to find your way beyond a few hundred hours. You're just done. There's nothing left to do beyond the emergent gameplay. So, play the game. It's alpha. It's very pretty. It works. It's cool. It's getting better. Starting to deliver. The skeleton and the core of the game is coming together, but it needs that now. It needs it desperately. And then we need all those gameplay loops. We need the gameplay area. If there is no formal release date, when do you expect Operation Pitchfork? Probably just before no more resets. So as soon as they say, "Oh, this patch is planned to have no more resets," well, they'll try to do Operation Pitchfork. I'm in game reasonably regularly. I don't talk much in the public chat though. Hi, any changes to actual ship weapon damages? I would expect 3.5 to see a lot of meta change when it comes to numbers and stuff for shields, armor, weapons, everything. If not in 3.5, if there's not much of a change that isn't balanced properly, then in 3.6. They're going to be balancing the flight model and combat much more from 3.5 to 3.6, in my opinion. Has there been any work that you know of on actually loading the Oz rover into the Connie? Mine keeps on falling through the floor when I try and load it. They have been working on physics grid stuff. The Hull C is a good indication of when that stuff might be entirely finished, or at least to a state that is good, and that's coming at the end of this year. So expect every patch to have better and better opportunities for your vehicles to stay in your ships without exploding and glitching out. When and what do you think the organization and game mechanics will be implemented? So it's organization gameplay is really sort of like group gameplay as well. So they're going to get the sharing of missions first, more robust server speak and stuff, better group options, the ability to share missions in a group, share rewards, rate players probably, and then they're going to start to add sort of like permission systems on ships so that you can give individual named players access to certain rooms and systems. And then organization stuff will be things like connecting those players so that you can create groups in and out of the game. You can share ships more easily, things like that. There's a lot of stuff that they want to do for organizations, but that it will be sort of like very social, allowing you to connect and chat to people in and out of the game. A lot of those organization features. There's quite a lot going on there. It'll take me a while to identify exactly what and to go through it all. Yeah, I'm hoping that the staying on planets, I'm hoping that the mining, industry, farming, that sort of base building gameplay is all good enough that you can jump full into that and just do that if you wanted to. You have to wait for the PTU to be live to download it. Yeah, so you'll on the website, you'll have in the settings, you'll have the ability to copy the PTU over when you have access to it, and then you'll be able to download it. It copies your main account to the PTU universe. Do you think that Mercury will be in the ship pipe? When do I think the Mercury will be in the ship pipeline? I think we will start to see work on the Mercury at the very end of this year. It's going to be the first Crusader ship that they do, and they'll work on the Hercules. Am I an alpha tester of Getting Glass? Yes. There are lots of planned improvements for performance in 3.5. As I talked about earlier, the hitching, there's lots of CPU updates and performance gains there, GPU stuff, memory stuff, loads and loads and loads. If you read through the monthly report and look on the roadmap, there's a huge amount of potential performance increases in 3.5. And I would expect a good amount of general frame stability, a little bit of frame increase, it being a good bit better on lower end computers and medium end computers, and for problems like hitching to go away. At least be severely improved. I know it's been asked a lot and don't really know anything about it, but should we assume the worst for the F7A upgrades? Like just a refund for it? Oh, so I think the worst that will happen with the F7A upgrades will be that it will just as a skin. It's just a skin that gives you the F7A military colours. And I think that's probably what they will do for it. Yeah, so it looks like that 3.5's PTU could be dropping to first wave anytime from today onwards. But more likely the weekend. When the map features coming to the persistent universe, we don't know. Noobifier is much better at talking about HOTAS joystick setups and stuff. From Sticks and HOTAS, I recommend the Verpal Constellation Delta. It's an amazing, amazing HOTAS, amazing stick, amazing grip. My VSync doesn't give me the option for fast. Any idea why? Are you talking about VSync in-game, or are you talking about VSync from the NVIDIA control menu? Will it be realistic to earn 21 million pesos to buy a hammerhead in the game? In the full game, when there's no more resets, yes, very, very viable. I mean, people can do it now in the 3-month reset time. You can also, there are some orgs that will lend you money in game as long as you pay them back during the same cycle, as sort of like practicing being banks. How do you download the PTU? So you need to go to, well, let me show you. Oh, and let me just check to make sure it's not going to show my EVOCATI stuff that I'm not allowed to show. Bear with me. Well, they want to go, me, you're showing stuff you're not allowed to show. Yeah, I can show this. Fine. It's not under NDA. Okay, so. Go here first. Show you what people it looks like. Is that right? So you'd go to account, and then you go to settings, go to public test universe, and this will only appear when you have access to the PTU. Comes out in waves. You should get an email as well, but you might not. And then you can literally click on copy account to PTU. And then if you need more information on that, you go to support.robertspaceindustries.com, and then you can search for PTU. Then you can see the how to install the PTU, which will give you the links and everything that you need, but also FAQ, which will tell you who is in what wave and that sort of stuff. But if you that's what we got. So the group systems, as far as we are currently aware, for 3.5 are just improvements to the current system, quality of life updates, some tweaks. We do know that they are going to be sharing missions. Eventually, don't think that's going to make 3.5. I believe it's going to be a 3.6 thing. How do you think sharing ships within an org will work? I think that you'll have each individual member with permissions, and you can set certain members to have access to those ships, or to have members being able to access like org hangars, things like that. I think it's literally going to be a very simple permission system. You say anyone of this rank can access this hangar, anyone of this rank can access these ships, only this named person can access this ship, or only these named people. It's nice and simple like that. podcast yesterday. It was very entertaining. I listened while I was at work. However, I felt the featured org was too hardcore. Is there any way we could identify with more of a casual? Yeah. So it was just the Forgotten Heralds and Harbinger, really fucking great guy, and they are also partly sponsoring the Carrot giveaway this month. And I just wanted to have a sort of like a practice for sort of like some of the potential stuff that I might have in a podcast. So we're just chatting. So from what I've seen of the new flight system in RTV, is it's got potential. I said it would probably need a bit more refinement. It will need to be balanced for combat. It's not going to be perfect in 3.5. They'll have to balance it between 3.5 and 3.6 to get a lot of those bugs out. And obviously it will still need iteration beyond that. And then all ships and stuff and weapons and things will need balancing. It's got potential. I would encourage people as soon as they get it in their hands to give feedback on it once they've played with it for a little while, because it's going to be very different compared to what we've previously had. In your opinion, does the new flight model feel more intuitive or natural? From what we've seen in RTV and stuff, it's different. I can't talk too much about it because obviously I am using it in the EVOCATI patch, and people whine about me. Oh, Board said something about the patch. Well, don't want to give them the opportunity to say that, and also I don't want to break NDA in any way, shape, or form. Mainly because I don't think other people to be able to just do it and go, well, someone else has done it. What joysticks have I bought? I've got the Verpal Constellation Delta and the throttle with that. I actually had 2 of the sticks. I'm currently with DC at the moment because he's testing them with his VR setup, which we might see in the future. What else? I've tried the Warthog, I've tried the X52 and the X56 and the X55. All good sticks. But my favourite by far is the Verpal Constellation Delta. Oh. No, so as far as I'm aware, there's no causation behind people spending a lot of money and becoming EVOCATI. There might be correlation to a degree. So the people that spend a lot of money on the game are likely to be more active and more sort of like trying to become EVOCATI. So they're going to be on the issue council and the participating in the PTUs and doing the EVOCATI tests. I know some of the people that run the EVOCATI, and they're not motivated by people spending money to become EVOCATI. They are motivated to get good EVOCATI testers, as far as I'm aware anyway. The first wave, however, is if you are concierge, spent $1,000, or if you're a subscriber. So that is much more motivated by trying to get people to subscribe and spend money, yeah. How long until, or how long is the first wave PTU? It doesn't have a specific length of time, and the first wave PTU could be any time from today onwards. Bear with me 1 second. I just need to go pee. The chair is in charge. We'll come back, have a little bit of a chatty chat, and then we'll see if someone else is around to host in a bit. Oh, good chair. How many donations did he get? Not enough! No. Yeah, I'm looking forward to First Wave PTU 3.5 because I want to test Shadow with 3.5. I want to test Game Glass with 3.5. Obviously, there was that Google Stadia, sort of like shadow gaming service type thing, which I'll be looking into in the future as well. See if that's any good for Star Citizen. Hopefully, Shadow will be better for it because I love Shadow and I get on very well with the guys there. First day of the solar generator actually working. Zoe FPV, are you running on a solar generator? Well, tell me more. What do we got? What do we got? So I can talk about 3.5, anything that's public knowledge. I can't talk about specifics of the EVOCATI patch, of the EVOCATI testing of 3.5. Beyond that, we know that they're testing the flight model. My subjective approach to the game. I think it's likely 3.5 to 5 years away from being released, and they're adding content to a launched game at this point. I'd love to be way off, but that has me enjoying the ride. I've only been a backer since fall of 2016. Oh, joysticks, I have a T16000M. Absolutely fucking great joystick. It is lemonade price, really cheap price, but it is a very, very good joystick. I plan to get a second one as soon as I can afford. Mid-tier joysticks. Yeah. Joystick setup's so fucking old now. It's probably fucking terrible. But thank you. I appreciate the love. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't break NDA. I see people get people using your stuff. You see that in like the YouTube and on Reddit and stuff. So I try not to give them. I try to stick to both the spirit of the NDA and any agreements that I have, as well as what's sensible. So 3.5 is currently with the EVOCATI. Should go to First Wave PTU. From today onwards is reasonably likely. But we're expecting it for this weekend. First Wave PTU could be next week, but we're expecting it this weekend. When will I be able to go whitewater rafting down rivers in Star Citizen? I believe they are working on a procedural river system. We're not sure if I'm not sure if water actually is able to push you yet, and has sort of like a network like that. They could have things like that, maybe. I suppose it's pretty easy for them to do. I haven't heard anything about sort of like being able to ride down rivers to the sea or whatever. That would be cool. I'm assuming there's going to be ocean planets. There's going to be planets that are largely rivers or whatever. So in the new flight mechanics, thrust and strafe is going to be different. Right setting. So the idea in the new system is that you set your velocity control with your mouse wheel, if you're mouse and keyboard, and then when you press W, you go forward, but when you stop pressing W, you slow down again. You press S and you go backwards, and you sort of like move and strafe around like that. In the new flight model, you can set a cruise control, so whatever your velocity control is maxed at, it will try and stay at that speed. You can press to toggle on and off your decoupling mode, which will allow you to then sort of like move more Star Galactica style fighting. It's reasonably different. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to love it. Combat is slower. The flight model is a bit different. Can't remember exactly what was shown on RTV, so I'm only saying stuff that I 100% know was. So. Do I have a good X56 keybinds file? No, I do not. However, I will be putting together on my BoredGamer.co.uk website a sort of like compiled database of other people's joystick guides and keybind files and stuff and like that in the future. I just don't know when. I was able to pledge on the Fortuna Emerald Phoenix pack the day it sold out. I only had to put a ticket asking for the opportunity to pledge on the war bond. Okay, Summer, that's cool. I mean, I'm surprised. Well, I'm not sure if it's good customer service or if it encourages people to inundate them with please give ships. Because it's good that if people like desperate really want it, because it's good. I mean, I would want it. If I wanted a ship, I would contact customer service as an option to see if they'd sell it to me. So yeah, okay. Don't berate my chair, Clint. How dare you, Mr. Eastwood? No, my chair does not stink because it is a mesh chair. It's entirely mesh. There's no cushion. It's a mesh. No, I wouldn't use plastic bottles under the table. What are you talking about for the PP? No, 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 no. My chair loves me, okay? And I love the chair. How dare you? Do we know if they're planning to fix missiles in 3.5? So, missiles will be affected and balanced. They will be affected by the new flight model. However, they use a slightly different system. They're more derpy, sort of like IFCS system. I can't remember what it's called. GCF. So it's a slightly more derpy version. They are going to be working more on missiles. I expect to see changes to them. Hopefully see some fixes to them. Maybe not fully in 3.5 though. Will 3.5 have any new and interesting missions and jobs? So it's supposed to have new missions. There's a new mission giver, which Pacheco, that's the one. For Art Corp, so there's new game area for missions. There's new moons for missions. They're working on bounty hunter missions and some other missions pertaining to that. So there's going to be new stuff, new gameplay area for missions. Everything's getting sort of like hooked up to that. So there will be some new things to do. Britain will not exit the UEE. What ships are coming? There's lots of potential ships and vehicles for the future. I mean, we'll see some military ground vehicles, I suspect. Some more military ships, lots more alien ships. Obviously, we're going to the Titan suit coming out soon. I think we're going to see the Drake Corsair, which would probably be a slightly more... the original idea of the Corsair was, if it does exist and is coming out at some point, is a Constellation, but done by Drake. Probably more towards the exploration side, so more like the Aquila or Carrack side of stuff. But there could be mine layers, there could be lots of stuff. I've talked about a lot of things. I will do a video on all of the ships they have mentioned. As one of the bigger Star Citizen reporters at Star Citizen, are you in contact regularly with CIG? Nope. I mean, I message them on Twitter. If I've got a question, I'll message them. I suspect that in the future I'll be much more in contact with them. They don't give me any special treatment or anything as far as I'm aware. Love the questions for the chair, jeez. So they've been working on buoyancy and some of the water physics. So I'm assuming that means some ships will float, some will sink. And I believe they wanted to have boats there a long time ago. They talked about having boats. The game, there might be some form of water exploration. We will have some form of water interaction in the future. My Emerald Phoenix fishing boat is called Fortuna. Una. It's a good name. Have you any idea what rover will come with the Carrack? Going to be the Lynx, isn't it? Going to be the Lynx rover for the Carrack. Yeah, they've been working on hair tech for Star Citizen. Twitch, the new mission giver, she's got, well, she's going to have at some point the new hair tech. Have braided sort of hair. Not sure if that's making 3.5 or not. People can ask questions. I don't care if they're silly questions or not. Still good. Do you like the new flight model better than the old one? I like what I've seen of the new flight model compared to what we've had from 3.0. I really like 2.6.3. I did really like it. Do you think CIG will consider to render some stuff with path tracing, not ray tracing? Thanks. I don't know. They'll consider any tech and any benefits for their game. However, they are now pushing towards a released product with Squadron 42 Episode 1. So that's going to be bared in mind. But they'll consider and see whether certain technology is worth assimilating, using, adopting, and that sort of stuff as it comes. Have we officially been told that we're able to share ships within orgs at some point? I don't think they've officially confirmed anything that's going to be coming. They keep on talking about we've got a permission system, or there will be ways that you can lend ships between people and things. They haven't officially said this is what this is going to be. No. With the 890 jump coming in 3.6 and swimming physics on the Squadron 42 roadmap for Q2, do you think the pool will be functional upon release of the 890 jump? No, I don't think it will be. I think there's issues with water in physics grids, probably still. We could see it, I just doubt it. Are there any news on mission system they presented at ATV before 3.0? Well, the mission system is evolving. Even now, it's getting more and more modular. I believe that the more sort of like robust version of that, is it 3.7 or 3.8 it's planned for? Bear with me 1 second. 3.7. Bear with me 1 second. Last swim is in 3.7. So maybe we could have water this year in ships, maybe. Where's the dynamic mission system improvements? Ah, it is in 3.8. Let me show you what I'm saying. No. Yeah. No. Yes. Keep on saying no and yes. So the dynamic mission system is the evolution of the sort of like derpy one we currently have, allowing for lots more of the parameters and modules and missions to be able to be swapped in and swapped out for much more varied missions, and different missions for different locations and rewards and all that sort of stuff to all be simulated as well, and that's sort of like be uploaded to, a player has completed this mission, that to start to affect the universe at large. At least that's what it will be a step towards. So 3.8 dynamic mission system. That's December of this year. Capital ships will be much better at quantum travel, right? You think capital ships will mostly turn into ferries. So I believe the idea with larger quantum drives is that they will take longer to spool up and longer to accelerate, but will be faster over longer distances. So a 15-minute jump in a smaller ship might only be a 3-minute jump for a capital ship, but there would be a minute of spooling up and spooling down. Compared to like 10 seconds of spooling up and spooling down in the smaller ship. See? They'll accelerate up to their maximum quantum speed. Do I ever think they'll be hunting, camping, or fishing? Don't think camping, because they talked about tents and beds and stuff before, but maybe. Hunting, yes, I think there will be hunting. I think there will be animals in game. I think there will be capturing of animals and the killing and big game hunting of animals. Fishing, maybe. I mean, fishing's in all MMOs, isn't it? Sort of like becomes silly in Star Citizen, but maybe. Back Shadow, my Ghost works great with Star Citizen, better than my junk PC I had running. Okay, cool. I'm glad that works well. I need to try it with 3.5. I've been pretty impressed with Shadow. So PTU just in general goes live typically sort of like Wednesday or Thursday during a week, so they can patch it if there's a terrible problem with it when it goes to first wave live. So I think today or tomorrow is very likely, but by the weekend it just seems reasonable. Right? That's the only reason I'm talking about it. It's just an educated guess more than anything else. I might very well be wrong. I mean, it could be that 3.5 first wave goes live next week, which would actually be better for me because I'm away this weekend. Are the turret scanners like in the Aquila usable in the new upcoming build? I don't know. I haven't seen anything on the roadmap about that. Yeah. I think it's very likely that we will have 3.5 first wave PTU by this weekend. Have they talked about Gravlev cars similar to land speeders from Star Wars? I think they had a kind of questions about them, and they sort of said, "Oh, we'll look into it," sort of thing. I mean, we can see that there are literal Gravlev buses and that sort of stuff that they've got planned for 3.5. The way that you're supposed to be getting from spaceport at ArcCorp to the other zone of ArcCorp, Area 18, is by this sort of like bus shuttle service. Fishing or fishing? Fishing. What ships am I using? I have a large range of ships. Typically, I use the Sabre for combat. You have a Super Hornet as well. I'll use a bit of everything, and I will be using a bit of everything when the game goes live. Pokemon Citizen! Woo! Are there any sort of diplomatic relations between the URR and the Vandal? UEE and the Vandal? No, so the humans and Vandal don't really have any form of diplomatic relations. The Vandal and the Banu do, but I don't think the Vandal do with anyone else either. It's just the Banu. Do you think CIG have learned what didn't work in Lawville and have attempted to address these issues in 3.5 with Arc Corp? Yes, I think they're going to be trying new things. Obviously, we can see that from the lower, sort of like flatter plans for the no-fly zone, with buildings coming above that. They're trying out detached areas from the main landing zone, things like that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of changes and differences that they're going for. I mean, obviously, ArcCorp is a silly planet as well. I think we'll see Lawville evolve out a bit more as well. So, do I think they should revamp subscriber perks? Maybe. What I more want to see is more community content. I love Jump Point Magazine. I love what they already provide. I love ATV and Around the Verse. I wish they had Cornwall Devs again. Another show where they take questions from the community and get them answered. Maybe some people that are dedicated to answering questions on forums, and then making a weekly sort of like thread and sort of like, these are the questions we answered, official questions that we got answered by devs this week. Bam, here you go. That would be absolutely cool. I'd like to see, originally on ATV, we saw like them start to bloat out to half an hour to 45 minutes or whatever, because they had these huge sort of like sections that were talking about how something worked, or they were talking about planets or a mechanic or whatever. I'd like to see those sections as separate videos. That's sort of like they suggested it was going to do. But yeah, so I want to see more community content, more videos done by CIG. They get more than, I believe, more than 3 million a year for community content and subscriber perks. Now, some of that has to pay the subscriber content. So that's the artists to make flair and to get the jump point made and things like that. But a good portion of that needs to go to shows like RTV and Around the Verse, and there should be more than enough, I suspect, therefore, than to support Cornwall Devs and another couple of shows. Dude, you've already answered 3 of my questions. Thank you. Well, when do you think we'll be able to do missions as a group and share the money made? I'm thinking for 3.6. That's my expectation for group sharing, group mission sharing. Isaac. So obviously, other than when is 3.5 going to go live or whatever, the questions and PTU live. Obviously, I've got quite a clickbaity title. I must have. That question's been asked 1 billion times. I literally am waiting for 3.5 to go live. Could go live any day now, any hour now. It is, bam. We know that the first wave, that they'll want to get it tested as much as possible. It might not be ready, but it's got to be ready by this weekend, surely, right? That's the sort of thing I'm thinking. Because we need the live build by, like, maybe the 29th of March. They could push it back very slightly to the first week of April if they had to. Do you think small ships like the Hornet and the Sabre are ever going to have room for a single unit of cargo? The Hornet can carry a storable box, so yeah. Playing golf on low gravity moons does sound amazing. Hopefully that will be in game. I would love that. You can get your little grey cat buggy out. They are basically golf buggies. Can I say anything about how fuel is going to work in the new flight model? Afterburner and Boost to switch places. They haven't switched places. Boost and Afterburner, assume they've both been destroyed. Afterburners are in the game, and they are real afterburners. They give you a acceleration boost. They don't give you a max speed boost. And Boost is gone. Bam. You know what I mean? Just Afterburner now. And Afterburners work like Boost used to. Mag Boots 1. So Mag Boots are, I think they're in 3.7. They're in 3.8. I lied. Boom. And they're not real Mag Boots. So the way that Mag Boots are going to work now are that the EVA jump packs on yourself, on your EVA suits, are going to thrust downwards constantly to simulate gravity. So as long as the gravity is low enough, you could walk on the ceiling and stuff. But they will consume fuel of your EVA suit is the idea, I believe. Or power. Do you think we will leave the Crusader system this year? No. The Stanton system. We'll leave Crusader this year. The Stanton system. we think see Horizon and on Crusader this year? It's a fractional possibility if they get all the other work done, but they need to get the cloud tech done and then get gas giant cloud tech done. But they could just potentially have a layered gas cloud tech that they're using for Squadron 42 for Crusader. We're not 100% sure yet. Fractional possibility, more likely to see first or second quarter of next year. Yes, I agree. I think they need to hire more community managers, Mantis. I agree with you there. More community managers, another content manager, so that even if Jared's off ill or takes a holiday off in January, that we can still have that content there. Just curious, will ArcCorp have some mountains, rivers? It's a huge planet that is city covered. It's not going to be entirely flat. There are obviously going to be juxtaposed buildings and things like that, but it's going to be mostly, it's going to be almost entirely city planet. Basically just all city planet. There's just some interesting landing zones and other features around there as well. Where's the best place to report encountered issues and stuff? Yeah, so issue council, check to see if your bug has been reported previously, and add to someone else's bug if it's their bug that they've discovered, and then help prioritize on there. There are some threads that are more specific, talking about balance and other errors and problems and regression testing. So have a look to see if it's also got a thread for it on Spectrum. But yes, typically with a bug, you want to report it on the issue council. Good idea to get a freelancer when 3.5 comes out. You might be able to buy one in-game. But maybe. I think it's a good chip. The Kraken, one of the images showed it landed in the desert. Is this now considered impossible, considering changes to the flight system? No, so the idea is that we're not sure what moons and gravity that the Kraken will be able to escape from. It's going to be based on its thrusters, the massive, its cargo, sorry, its mass, the mass of the object it's trying to escape, its atmosphere, all that sort of stuff. And if it can't, then it might be able to get help from something like an Argo SRV eventually, which would be able to help it get into orbit with its tractor beam. Not fulfill your carnal Kirk needs, unfortunately, as far as I'm aware anyway. Already answered 4 questions, thank you. Do you understand why CIG don't sell all normal ships, not capital ships, always? Yeah, to create artificial scarcity, Oscar. It's part of their selling plan and marketing plan, almost certainly. It creates hype around certain things. It creates a bit of a talking point and a community around it. Or do you have any information or perhaps a guess on the state of the Mercury? I believe they're going to probably start production of the Mercury, or start looking at it at the end of this year, and it will be the first sort of Crusader ship completed, and then they'll go on to the Hercules after that. I wouldn't expect to see it flyable until next year. Are ships going to be faster in atmosphere? No, they'll be slower. The higher you are up in atmosphere, though, the faster you'll be. The lower you are in atmosphere, the slower you'll be. Are there plans to have safety girl with safety boy? I mean, Zin's going to be working for me soon. I mean, danger girl. Safety boy. I became concierge this month. I now invited to the fancy top hat parties. Yeah, why not, Mr. Pinks? I'll invite you, even if no one else does. I've not been to a concierge specific party. I know they happen. I know, but I've not been to one. I think like at places like CitizenCon and things like that, they might have bars that, like small little bars that are concierge only, so you can get like a little, this bar's really busy. I'll go to the concierge bar. Woo! That's the sort of ideas they'll have there. Have they improved city rendering for that extra FPS in 3.5? I believe that's one of the plans. Do you have any new advice for a new Star Citizen content creator? Remulus, you're more than welcome to message me on Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer. Find me, pick me, send me a message, me personally, and I'll can have a chat with you. But it's going to be watch other content creators, get involved with their communities, become someone that they like to talk to. Don't spam your content around. Ingratiate yourself with other communities and start to get involved. And don't be worried to make trash content to start with. You're going to make mistakes and stuff like that. Try to be as try to be as accurate as possible if you are saying anything. Say if you're speculating or whatever, where you can. I think people know to a good extent when I speculate or when I'm chatting about stuff or I'm talking about what we've heard. And a lot of stuff in Star Citizen is speculation, but try and make that clear where possible. Things like that. There's loads of stuff that you can do. And it depends on if you've got a great editing style or you've got a great voice or you're great at researching or whatever, what type of content you do. You'll need to be evolving that and be dynamic with that typically to start with. But I'm happy to talk to you about that and talk a little bit more about YouTube and how tagging and descriptions and titles work and things like that. I'm semi-busy over the next few days, but I can start to message you. Do they still plan on reworking Port Olisar? I believe so. So they're creating these larger versions of the rest stops and truck stops we've got as larger space stations, and they're doing external and internal variants of that. And I believe that's what's going to be replacing Port Olisar. Do you think they will fix VoIP in 3.5? I believe they plan to fix and improve it. If I spend another $200 on Star Citizen, can I join the concierge parties? Maybe. Right? I've not been to a concierge party, so I can't tell if it's worth it. It's probably not worth $1,000. I'll tell you that. Do you think it's better to leave big ships outside of Atmo and land in planets with smaller ships? Yes, I think that's one of the reasons you have those snubs and things. One of the downsides of larger ships is that they're not going to be great in gravity. I think the Nova tank will come after the Hercules. Oh. I don't know. I don't know about that schedule with that sort of stuff. I assume it's quite easy for them to do a tank, but are there any perks about being concierge? You get some cool little flair. Yeah, you get faster PTU access. Let's have a look at the concierge perks. Don't know why I said it like herkaderpaderpader. 1 second. That's no, can't show that. Me dressed up as a Japanese schoolgirl. Don't worry about that. You can't see anyway. Can't. Yeah, man. Have a look at the concierge perks. Look at the low level ones. Low level ones. Oh fuck me. Concierge. No. Yes. That's the one. And the best. So early access to sales as well. So you get early access to like a day earlier for concept sales. Exclusive and early access to some Star Citizen live events. Expedited customer service. Oh, you get a special like customer service rep. Yeah. Exclusive community access to concierge only forums. And some concierge packages in store. So you get like access to the super expensive packages. You get some in-game rewards. I believe at the simplest level, you just get the ones that I have for this account, which is the top hat and monocle and the golden pistol. But yeah, not a huge amount. I believe there's concierge parties and some other little perks, but not a huge amount. You also get the feeling that you're better than everyone else. That helps. Last year, CitizenCon did not have a concierge lounge, but did have both a premium ticket lounge and off that was a Legatus lounge. Oh, with almost no one in it. Okay, so they had Legatus lounge. They're super expensive. Sorry, I thought it was a concierge in general. I will poke them to make sure it's sort of like a concierge lounge rather than a Legatus lounge. If they do something like that. Not that it's that important. Oh my god, have lunch on me. Thank you, Summer Yeti. $50. Oh my gosh. New super chaps would be a good idea. Not super chats, not super chaps. My leather pants creak. I love you. You're the Summer Yeti. Sent me $50. Summer Yeti. Fucking love money, mate. Thanks. Appreciate it. So video on Death of a Spaceman. Don't you think it's a big risk in terms of balance in the PU? It takes 200 hours to get a bit ship. And will that be 200 hours of running away? There'll be risk and reward. So you might be able to cut down that 200 hours into 30 hours if you're doing risky stuff well. Do you know what I mean? So the risk actually adds to the economy. It helps drive the economy as well. And there could just be... There needs to be a huge amount of balance, and the economy needs to be really well thought out, and the risk and reward system needs to be really thought out, because you don't want to make players just go, I don't want to play this because it's too stressful, or I've had a big loss, I'm done. So YouTube members are people that have clicked on the join button under the YouTube things, and that allows you to basically give me $5 every month for some exclusive content. You get badges and things that you can put in chats, and it helps support the YouTubes. I want you to do it. Have you, Bob? You've only been banned for 10 years on the forums. I don't believe that carries on to other things as well. I saw your comments. I read on Reddit. All I can say is that on my Discord, I'm pretty free speechy. However, it does get moderated occasionally if people are being absolute dicks. Pretty good for all the conversation. People can be there and chat as long as they're not, purposefully just doing you scrubs, you're all scrubs, you're a scrub, and I replaced the word that I used with scrub, and yeah, real case. What can I expect on BritishCon? I'm considering going and balancing pros and cons. Any insights? I love BritishCon. Let's talk about BritishCon briefly. Boom. I've got it open somewhere, I think, just in case we talked about it. Bam. So BritishCon is on the 27th of April. It's in Manchester. The VIP tickets are already sold out, but there are other tickets. There are premium tickets and premium plus tickets and standard tickets. So it's 30 quid for a ticket, 35 on the door, so you can literally turn up and pay, assuming they still have space. Typically, it's a really cool event. They'll have some panels from devs, sort of the CIG studios nearby, and Brian Chambers and Tim Welch is going to be there. That there should be a good amount of other devs as well. I'm going to be there. Typically we have Maya and Super Mac Brothers and Mr. G and a load of other peeps coming down as well. And it is a day of awesome Star Citizen drinking and coolness. It's going to be in the Museum of Science and Industry this time. JR Design and Fabrication are going to be there. Special Effects are going to be there. JR Design and Fabrication made the big Saber Raven and the Dragonfly. Gonna have Chris Harrow there teaching people how to Xi'an properly. There should be a lot going on. They haven't released the full sort of like days thing. Typically, they are one of the best events of the year for me, if not the best event. Obviously, we're probably going to have CitizenCon in the UK as well this time, so might be the second best event, but it's definitely fucking worth going. That's out. Check about that. I'll probably do another video on BritishCon before, anyway, but yeah. Any idea when the landing bay of the 85Xs are going to be on the A90 jump in the front? I believe it's top loading. Hi, Bored, can you recommend a good video editing software? Yeah, I mean, Adobe Premiere's great. It's what I use. There are free versions of things, but Premiere's what I'd use. You can afford it. Any ideas when the schoolgirl photos will be leaked? They have previously been leaked. I'll put them back up on the YouTube and on the Patreon stuff and the subscribe stuff later this week, probably. Huntress basically gave us 1,500 quid to dress up as Japanese schoolgirls at iSeries, and because she chucks money at me. She's a mod. She does a load of work for me. She is the fucking chief mod on my Discord and gives me amazing advice, and is very, very good at sort of like giving her advice, but also saying, this is my opinion, you can do what the fuck you want. So it does loads of work for me and gives me money. It's the best. Boom. Do you think that with the new DNA face customization system, that NPCs will begin looking unique rather than running into basically the same person all over? Yes. People will start looking a lot more unique. That's the idea of the DNA face customization stuff, and they're going to be adding more and more faces to it, I believe. I can spend $50 on lunch. I could spend $200 on lunch. Might be quite drunk afterwards. In 90% of my videos, Oscar, I'm very sorry for your loss of your time that you can never get back. Oh my god, there must be a lot of videos on my channel now. Fuck. When do we expect to see CitizenCon tickets go on sale? I don't know when they went on sale last year. Probably May or June time, maybe? Insurance will eventually be an in-game purchase. Yes, there's going to be more insurance variants that they're looking at. Insurance at the moment, they're looking at getting items and custom loadouts insured on your ship. I'm assuming they're also going to be looking at inventories and equipment on your FPS character as well. We don't know exactly how much insurance is going to be. It should be a easily affordable price. However, I suspect there will be different levels of insurance. It's still going to, even if you've got full insurance of your ship or whatever, there's still going to be downsides of losing a ship. It will take time to be replaced. Even if you've got the best insurance you possibly could have on a Idris, for example, it'll probably still take a week or two to replace it. It gets destroyed. How can you have a convention in Britain if Britain's going to exit in the middle of it? Oh, God. Do you like the new Reliant Tanner? Does it have missiles? And can the co-pilot use one of the turrets in the 3.5? I don't think they're remote turreted. I can't talk about specifics of 3.5. I believe the Tanner has missiles? I don't know what it's going to be like in its new rework, or I guess I can't talk about it. Well, I can say I haven't tried it in the EVOCATI patch, so I don't know fucking anything about it. I'm just looking on the ship page for it. No, it doesn't. It hasn't got any missiles listed. I thought it did have missiles, but it hasn't got any missiles listed. Might have missiles after its rework. Bored. I'm looking to buy a new ship for the 3.5, and I would like to know which one I should go for: Miss Reliant Sen or the 300i rework. Wait until you see the 300i rework and what they're going to do with the customization for it, which should be at the end of this month. You should see that with 3.5 going live. My suggestion. I might be using a Reliant Mako. We'll have to see what the Mako's news wagon vans sort of like gameplay is like. Is it a useful addition for streamers or content creators? I don't know. Is it just a way of making money in game?
I'm
like
going to
maybe
buy
it's like
so
Twitch in
many
game.
spaceships.
3.5. Oh my god! I'd do a $3.50 campaign. Thank you very much appreciated for the donation. So we don't know how the gameplay is going to work with that. We know that CIG have the tech to with their render detection tech and their streaming video tech to have something recorded and streamed elsewhere in game, potentially external to the game as well. We don't know how the Mako is going to be used for missions. We don't know if you're going to be able to stream directly to someone else's screen or like a station that people will be able to tune into in and out of the game. Maybe you get money based on how many viewers you have, like on Twitch, in UEC or something. That would be kind of cool. There's lots of stuff they could do with it. Maybe there will be shoulder-mounted cameras for characters as well that you can get. Have to wait and see. I'm interested though. If it's a useful addition, then yes, I'm definitely going to be using one. When will Orville's nasty plumes of smoke and smog have the orbital weapons platforms bombing the service into the crater biome? What? Oh, I think they'll be updating and improving the way that Hurston looks in the future. Did you watch the Google GDC announcements? It seems like your guys at Shadow might be a bit worried unless they get bought out. Understand if you can't talk about it, feel free to skip the question. No, I've looked at Stadia as well, which is the Google streaming service that they want to do. We'll have to see how good it is, whatever. Yeah, Shadow might get bought out by them potentially. I don't know. Shadow might have to just work hard at being a very focused Windows 10 platform service like they are. Shadow seems pretty good for Star Citizen. If they focus on certain things, Shadow might have to do pretty well out of it. It might just bring more attention to Shadow. There's lots of positives and negatives with things like that, so hopefully Shadow will do well. I'm rooting for Shadow at the moment, but I'll literally look at Stadia and see if it's a better service. And if it is, and it's going to be better for Star Citizen, then I probably will go. I'll probably see if Shadow are got any plans that can compete with that for Star Citizen. If they can't, then I recommend people go for Stadia, but I don't know yet. At the moment, Shadow is the horse that I'm backing. Why does your voice go up like Stewie's from Family Guy when he's asking Brian about the book he's writing? I don't know. It just is. Maybe I'm Stewie. Everyone's a gold digger to one degree to another. That is true. Messing with no broke citizens. That's a good save. How have they mentioned if the ship customization applies to 300s or Warbond only? No, they have not. There was a flare gun they showed almost 2 years ago. Do you think they've given up on that, or will it eventually come? I think it will eventually come, and I think you'll see it. People find them on planets and stuff. Any info on stealth gameplay mechanics yet? So we're not going to have cloaking or anything. Stealth is starting to be in game at the moment. When they have better systems, and they are for 3.5 is plans as well, but they're going to get better and better for radars and scanning. The management of your systems is going to be more and more vital. And so stealth gameplay is literally you managing your systems and your items on your ship so that you're not producing IR and EM signatures, and that you're keeping your CS, your cross-section signature as low as possible. I think Google thing is where developers put their games on, not like Shadow where you get a virtual PC. Yeah, so Shadow can specialize in their particular product, and it might be much more suitable for certain things. Star Citizen might not be on that weird Google thing, but we'll have to wait and see how that sort of like process happens. Yeah, the Google thing is like a console in the cloud with pre-installed games in it. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see exactly how that all pans out. But I'll definitely look into it. It's the best. It's the best tool for the job, and that's what I'm gonna always have to do. Unfortunately, even if it's you know what I mean. Like, if a better service comes out, I will have to look at it and recommend it, or at least give counterpoints to why you'd want it over another one or whatever. So, if I bore your head and add mayo, mustard, and pepper, can I get the Guinness World Record for largest deviled egg? No, there's probably people with bigger eggheads than me. I hope. Hope I'm not the biggest. Thanks though, Randy. That doesn't make me feel self-conscious at all. Thanks. Right. I am going to fuck off and have some food. I'm going to have some bone marrow and steak burgers, which I bought the other day. We are going to go and check out... else is streaming. I'm going to give them some love. We're going to go and... oh, see, now... we're going to go and host Super Mac Brothers Ryan. His title is 3.5 Leaks. Starts with us an AMA chat and chill. So, good fucking name. Good fucking name for a fucking stream. Right. I love you guys. Can you do a video on Google Stadia versus Shadow? Yes, once I have a bit more information on Google Stadia, and I've played with Shadow in 3.5. But yes. I'm going to go host Super Mac Brothers Ryan. Give him some love. You guys take care. Thanks so much for the donations and support I've received. My father's doing pretty well at the moment. I think he's going to probably... he's probably going to have the chemotherapy, which means that next 3 months are probably going to be quite erratic when it comes to content from me. I'll still be able to get a lot done, but there might be some days where I'm doing stuff, or the content's minimal or whatever. Just be expecting that if I'm a bit, more erratic than I previously have been. But thank you very much for all the kind words and love. It is appreciated. Yeah, and I'm doing pretty well. Like I'm pretty stable, pretty happy. Got a bit of a bad back at the moment. I've just recovered from a cold. I've got this weekend is a board games convention which I'm going to. It's my birthday as well. I'm going to be 34 years old. Yeah, it should be pretty good. Eggman sent us. I love you guys. You take care. Thank you very, very much for the YouTube members, for the donations, for the subscriptions on Twitch, for the Patreons. It all fucking helps so much, especially in the first couple of months of the year. That typically YouTube views are down. Not so much on my channel, but I suppose that's because there's not many other people doing what I'm doing, covering Star Citizen. But very much looking forward to 3.5. Hopefully 3.5 PTU Wave 1 will drop today or tomorrow. That would be fucking fantastic. And it's very possible that we'll have it for this weekend. It's not confirmed, but it's very possible First Wave PTU. And First Wave PTU is subscribers and concierge along with the EVOCATI. EVOCATI already have it in their hands. But anyway, you guys take care. If you've got any questions for me, feel free to poke me on my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer, or send me an email, contact@boredgamer.co.uk, and I will try and get back to you. Love you guys. Peace out.